So yeah, I'm super, super excited to be speaking with Andriani Marshananda today, better known as Marsha.
Yes.
Marsha is an actress and has acted in over 20 movies. She's a singer and songwriter here in Indonesia, and she's got an impressive 5.4 million followers on Instagram, where she utilizes her platform as a passionate advocate for spiritual and mental well-being. Marsha is 31 years old and has an 8-year-old daughter named Sienna. Marsha has experienced an unbelievable journey around mental health that inspired us for this conversation today. Marsha, it is so lovely to have you here and to share your journey. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Oh, I feel like somehow I'm attracted to Ananda, the energy around you, around your brand, around your product, and just you as a soul is just, I can feel your warmth, your
Hmm.
groundedness, your presence is just so, I love it. I love it. So I feel great to connect with you and have this conversation today.
Thank you.
Actually, I just turned 32. Just
Oh my God.
oh.
Yes, it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Leo, huh?
Yeah,
Amazing. So it was your birthday yesterday?
August 10, 2 days
August
ago.
10th. All right. Wow. Hmm. Um, so let's drop in a little bit. I'm curious in terms of like I wanna speak about where you are today, and what you're creating. But let's start with kind of zooming back a little bit and like when you were little, like when you grew up in the limelight, right? Like pretty early on. You were, I think, 5 years old when you
Yeah.
kind of entered the entertainment industry. Um, can you share a little bit how that impacted you growing up? What was it like to be famous as such a little girl?
I feel at first it all happened very, very, I don't know how to call it, but it felt like it's meant to be. Because other than being at school, because during all my work, since I was a little girl, I never skipped school. So I continued school until I graduated. And then, but I love it to work more than anything. I love being surrounded with the people at at the studio, at the shooting location. I feel connected with so many different kinds of people who are, I don't know, mostly they're usually older than me, but I feel like I belong there, so, but I never see it as something glamorous or, like I'm popular, whatever. That kind of how the way I see it, I never see it like that. I just see it as something that I really love to do. I love to connect with people. I love to be in front of the camera. I love to share what I'm passionate, what I do passionately. So yeah, it's been a blessing, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of challenges as well that comes with this path that I took. So it's the life that I love with a lot of ups and downs, a lot
Mhm.
of challenges, a lot
Yeah,
of sacrifices, but also blessings.
yeah. Would you be okay to share a bit more about the challenges, like some things that came
Well,
up for you?
maybe the most obvious thing is everything that I have, I experience, I do in my life, I cannot keep it just for myself. It's going to be uh, sooner or later is going to be eventually published, like in the media, or like I'm going to have to share it with everyone through the media. So I cannot keep things private. Although I can, only very little amount of information in my life I keep private, but mostly, yeah, it's gonna go out there. But I think it's the risk. But yeah, it's a risk of this profession that I do. But at the same time, I see it as an opportunity to share with people who I authentically am, share my struggles, because I see a lot of, celebrities or public figures who they feel like they have to show only their greatness, their achievements, their perfection, and everything else. That's good. But I think being in this position challenged me to what I want to see myself show the dark sides of my journey as well. So when I'm achieving what's greater, or when I'm on my, like achieving the great things, I can inspire people, and then people can still relate to me. And when I empower others, they know that I'm talking from real struggle, real experience that
Mhm.
they themselves saw
Yeah.
in my past.
Right.
Way it feels like,
Right.
like when people give you an advice and you think you don't know what's going on, you don't know, you never been through like what I went through, but they see me struggle, like, so they can feel like, oh, if she can do it, then I can do it. I want to help people in that way. I want to empower
Right. Just so powerful and a bit rare as well, right? Because you're saying everything about your personal life will eventually come out into the world, whether that's the good or the bad. And I like if I just imagine that for myself, I'd be like, oh my god, I want to make sure that only the good stuff comes out, and I would hide anything that's a little bit dark, right? And that kind of creates this image of celebrities that are like they're perfect, their life is perfect, they're always happy. And so then when I see that, I'm like, clearly there's something wrong with me because I'm not always happy. How do these people do it? And it shifts, like it messes with people's minds as well, right? And so um yeah, first of all, thank you for doing that and having the courage, because I could imagine it takes a lot of courage.
you.
Which brings me a little bit to like a tipping point that I'm aware of that happened at one point in your career, right? Where um, you were successful, you were young, and then you were diagnosed with mental illness, and that was public as well. And at first, the reaction wasn't that positive, right?
No.
Would you feel comfortable to share that story a bit with us, and yeah, what you learned from this experience, like how you dealt with it, and also the stigma that comes with mental illness. I know back when it happened, it probably was even worse than it is now, of
Yeah.
how people respond.
So it's amazing that I can see today, currently, like a lot of people are more aware about mental health issues, about mental illness, bipolar disorder, and other kinds of mental illness. And I am really grateful to be a part of, uh, I don't know what to call it. I don't know. I feel like uh, it takes a lot of courage for me to open up, like in the year, I think 2010, around 2010, open up publicly about my diagnosis of bipolar disorder. But after the long term, people are saying thank you to me for opening up about that, because it opens up a lot of many eyes, many hearts, and awareness that other people, that everyone in the world has issues. Not nobody's perfect. Everyone
Nobody's
has
perfect.
struggles mentally. So, but during the very first period of time where I open up about it, oh my goodness, it was so. People are like, if you Google my name, Marshanda, there are like if you type Marshanda, the second line would be suggestions by Google, right? So the second line would come during that year was Marshanda, and the next word was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is like the top
Oof.
keyword that people would search. So
Wow, that gives me
labeled,
chills.
seriously, is I was labeled as stressed out, crazy, lost, and every
Hmm.
other things. So
Right.
it was
What
huge.
happened? What happened exactly for people to label you with those words? Like,
Because there were several things that happened between different times. So at first, maybe one of the biggest things that I did was I opened up, I announced publicly that I have bipolar disorder. But before that, I think it was the year 2009. I published several videos, which was not a popular thing to do back then. You know, like people don't usually publish their personal videos onto YouTube, and there were no TikToks, there were no
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. And then I felt like at one point at that time, I can see that people saw me as this perfect, in this perfect image, you know, happy, she has no problems in her life, and I just don't like it. I didn't like it. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted people to know that I have a lot of struggles too. I'm not perfect, and I have this urge, I have this need to show my vulnerability, which I at that time I didn't care whether people will understand or not. But one thing I know for sure, that there are some people who needed to see this side of
Right.
me. I don't know how. I don't know who
Yeah.
tells me that. I was just sure of it, you know. So I uploaded a video where I cried, and at that time I was dealing with my childhood traumas
Mm-hmm.
and past wounds, unresolved, unfinished issues from that was rooted in from my parents. And during that time, I just wanted to cry in front of the camera from my laptop and play this song by Christina Aguilera called "Hurt." And then I
Mm-hmm.
cried, and then I want to send that the lyrics of the song for my parents without mentioning it. That's what I meant. And then I cried, and then I said the word "Papa, Mama." That's it. And
Mm-hmm.
then there were several other videos, but the other videos were just me dancing, having fun with my friends. But I published those videos at the same time, like during the same day, all at once. So people were like confused, like what's
Would
going
you
on
like?
with her?
Yeah. Would you
Yeah,
remember like what was going on in your head? Like, would there be a phrase where you when you hit publish? Like,
I just
what was your
published it.
internal voice? You're like, I don't care.
Share this because first the about the crying video, I just felt like I didn't have any doubt, zero
Yeah.
doubt to do it, because I feel like, yeah, like what I told you, I feel like there are some people who needed to see this too.
Yeah.
And about the dancing video and the having fun videos, I just saw that like me expressing me having fun with my friends. So I just
Mm-hmm.
hit published, and people like, whoa, she has huge problem. There's
Mm.
something really wrong with her. And then yeah, and a few years after that, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and then I opened up publicly about that. So since then, I've been learning a lot for myself about mental health, psychology, neuroscience, personal growth, spiritual healing, and I apply them to myself. I
Mm-hmm.
exercise them for myself. So I share. I mean, I experience a lot of growth, which are not always an easy ride. I'm sure you know
Yeah.
about
Yep. I have my own journey
that. Yeah,
in the same
sure.
field. Yeah. So
Yeah, so I share many, many insights and
yeah.
experiences that I have with people that who follow me on Instagram, through the media, you know, and
Mm.
it's been, I don't know, maybe in one word, I would call it like authentic. It's just authentic. It's not
Yeah.
perfect, but it's
Yeah.
real.
But it's real. Mm. What are some of your personal like routines, practices, strategies? Because you just mentioned that you're studying a lot into it. So how do you apply it?
Well, there are several things. I study every day. I
Mm.
either watch documentaries, I study online courses about personal growth, spirituality, emotions, healing, alternative healing, meditation. I also I play sound bath solfeggio music at my
Mm-hmm.
house, and I play it throughout all the rooms in my house. Like,
Wow.
yeah, so there's one speaker in each room, and they would play all the same sound bath, like crystal singing bowl music, to just cleanse the energy around me and myself.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to journal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also took a hypnotherapy diploma in 2013.
Mm. Hmm.
Also learn basic counseling practices. So I'm very interested in this area, so it's
Yeah.
just my passion. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. 'Cause it's so important. It's often little things, right? You're saying I journal a lot, and it's not like these complicated things. It's like picking up pen and paper and just kind of getting
Yeah.
it all out. So, mm,
It's been
amazing.
very helpful to journal. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
healing. Yeah.
And then sound, I can relate to that as well. Just
Yeah. It's real.
influencing.
Yeah. And then when I show that to my mother, the sound healing, she told me, so there's this 174 hertz. The function of it is to heal pain. So my mom usually has problems in her joints, like on her
Mm,
knee joints, and then she would listen to that music, and she told me like, "Oh my god, I can feel the pain literally diminish, like disappear." And I didn't know it would be that impactful for other people, especially for my mom, who was at first a little skeptical about these whole meditation woo woo thing, But
right.
she's now totally into this. She's like practicing that all day, and she's listening every day to sound bath and meditation. It's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny with those woo woo things. I have a similar family. And so then when I'm like, so I started doing this thing, but it helps.
Yeah.
Let me just look into some of the other questions that we had written down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's dive a little bit into body positivity.
Mm.
Just like I just wanted to share a little bit from my own journey, because thank you for sharing so vulnerably. Like I have a pretty extensive history of mental illness as well. Mine was more expressed in food, and like I was anorexic for a long time in my teenage years, and so it was similar of just finding my own way of like, how can I figure out how to actually want to be in this body and want to be in this world. And it is what then inspired me to study into psychology and to experiment with all these different practices. And so that word body positivity is just, it's really big for me personally, and that is what I've woven in and through the brand, right? That's why it's quite palpable, because it's all these messages that I need to hear for myself, and then I've noticed a lot of people in the world, it resonates with them as well. um, and I know that it's that body positivity piece. I know you're quite passionate about that as well. Um, what would you say are some of the biggest like challenges you've had to overcome in that area, and what are some of the lessons? And what does it mean to you in general, like body
Right.
positivity?
So there's a lot of easy criticism that people would just mention to just anyone, mostly women. From women to other women, even from men to women, like, are you gaining weight? Have you been gaining weight? Are you like, why are you so thin? Everything's just can be wrong. Whether you're
Mm-hmm.
too thin, you're gaining too much weight, whatever that is. So for me, it's been, I see it as a huge pressure. I don't know, maybe it's the entertainment industry, maybe it's the whole world in any kinds of industry out there. I don't know. I think so. Yeah. But yeah, there's a huge pressure for women to just stay in shape
Mm-hmm.
with, at the same time ignoring whether she's taking care of her health properly or not. It's like
Yeah.
that part is ignored. You just have to be thin. You just have to have small sizes in some parts of your body and big sizes in other parts of your body. You know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Oh my God. And then for me, myself, because I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, so I have to take some psychiatric meds regularly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even until today, I take small dosages of several meds. So these meds, they have the side effects. Is one of them is for me to gain weight, slower metabolism, and for me to have
Mm-hmm.
more cravings, food cravings. So I have to deal with that. and at the same time for me to do TV series, like performing, there's pressure for me to be thin.
Yeah.
So I have been in the past taking during daytime appetite suppressant pill prescribed by
Right.
doctor. But
Wow.
because
Yeah.
I have this, yeah, but I've decided to stop them just very recently because it's
Hmm.
really not healthy. Why? Because for me, my bipolar meds would cause the appetite suppressant pill to not work. So I have to
Right.
double the dose.
Right. So you have these
So
medications that are working against each other, huh?
oh, yeah, yeah, and it would cause for me to feel like fast heartbeats and then anxiety.
Hmm.
So it's actually not healthy. But I've been trying to just handle this, just deal with this. You have to be thin. Oh my god, I can't believe I said this, but it's true. That's what I experienced. But then, like a month ago, I took a DNA test,
Hmm.
and I took a whole body checkup, like hormone tests and then heavy metal toxicity tests. I just want to know the health of my body, and I just felt like I want to enter this new chapter of taking care of myself, my body, in a different way, in a more
Yeah.
healthy way. So when I met my nutritionist, my doctor, she said, "You need to stop the appetite suppressant pill. I'm serious. This is not good for your heart health.
Yeah.
This is not good for you." So during that time, I decided that, okay, I'm going to stop, but I'm going to take this opportunity to to make a campaign for body positivity, because I
Hmm.
know after I stop the appetite suppressant pill, I will gain weight. That's just
Yeah.
like a withdrawal, like a rebound effect,
Hmm.
stopping. So I want to deal with that positively. I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
going to feel insecure with this, with
Yeah.
my bloated tummy and my, my arm that gets bigger and stuff like that. But I want to just show, especially for women out there, to be okay. What matters
Hmm.
is you eating healthy food, doing exercise, sleeping enough every day. And
Hmm.
that's what people should focus more on rather than the
Right.
size and the looks of women.
Yeah. And the body's messages, right? It's like if there's appetite, clearly the organs, the body itself needs nutrition and energy, and then we're taking stuff to like suppress that, and it's like such a mixed message. And then we're meant to perform, right? Be charismatic and energized and always happy, and you're like, how that's actually not physically possible. Then dealing with brain chemistry on top. You mentioned a campaign that you've created out of that. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Like, what is it called? And
Well, I published this video on my YouTube channel. The name of my YouTube channel is Marshed, and the
hmm.
episode was called "I My Body Is Perfect and I Love It." So the
Hmm.
campaign is I mentioned a lot about how, like what I said before, like people focus more on the size, on how you look, on how thin you are, but what we should prioritize more than those things is this person taking good care of her health? That's it. That's the most important thing that we should focus more on. So I even mentioned, like, I have a friend, a friend who is a woman, and I remember her in the past, like few years ago. She told me that, oh my god, I have bloated tummy. Is like all over. Is like going out of my pants. Like, I'm so disgusted by my tummy. She said
Mm.
the word disgust.
Hmm.
And that's like, oh my God, that's a huge, deep self hatred, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like, oh my God, I don't want to do that to myself. I want to grow from this self limiting, hateful comments that we give to ourselves. So through that campaign, I'm not just spreading message to people out there, but it's actually the very first and foremost is for me to tackle my own insecurities, for me to start this new change of seeing my body, accepting myself, and being healthy.
Hmm. Yeah. It's so I'm like cheering inside because those topics that you just mentioned, I am so familiar with. I remember I was in a workshop, I think, with my partner, and we had to name um, the emotions that we're most afraid of. And my top one was disgust,
Oh,
because having such a big history of like hating my body, like the sensation of being disgusted by my body is so familiar to me. And I think there are so many people out there, and we get these messages, right? Like we zero in on these areas of the body, like you just said, arms or belly, and then we actually call a part of our own body that is like getting us to do all these things disgusting. And it's such an insult on so many levels, but we hear it, our cells hear it, and our mind hears it. And so, oh, I'm so grateful, that there's somebody else out there. And I know, thank God, there's more and more people who are speaking up about it openly, who are creating campaigns, who are showing images of normalizing a variety of different body shapes, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like there's one particular type of body shape that is advertised, and it is absolutely impossible for everybody to have that. So
Yeah.
are you seeing any shifts? Like how are you seeing the theme of body image, body positivity changing? Are you noticing anything in the media? Is there
Oh,
like
yeah.
a
I think so. Yeah. Lately, in the past few months, or maybe in the past 5 6 months, there's
mhm,
a lot of people are voicing this out, like speaking up about
mm,
normalizing human body, like
yes,
normal human body shapes
yeah,
and however
yeah,
they would look like, and to accept that, to embrace that, to not give judgments on however
hmm
that looks like. And it's wonderful. It's very empowering. So I'm
hmm
very proud of this progress in the media and how many people are being empowered because of it. So it's
hmm
beautiful, like the new. I know that the new Victoria's Secret models are like they have plus size models, and
hmm
this the new series of Gossip Girl. They're, I don't know, these all these movements. It's amazing. So the world is heading to a better level of consciousness, which is
hmm
healthy from
slowly
so
but
many.
surely, huh? Yeah, yeah. It resonates so deeply with like the work that I've been doing with Ananda and the unfolding of it as well. I started off over 11 years ago now, and for me it was like, yes, I want to share messages of body positivity, but it was any consultants that I had, they'd be like, well, but you can't be too much out of the box because you're too small of a brand. Like you need to like create kind of in the area where people will still click on things and where people will still recognize. And I had to like peel those layers away of getting to a point of, you know what, I don't care, because it's messing with my mind. Like whenever I get ready for like putting on a new photo shoot and designing a new collection, and I start thinking about who do I want to work with as models to represent our brand. Ever since I started working with this wide variety of women, from I recently shot with a dear friend who's 74, who is one of the most beautiful women I know. She's had an incredible life. And I've noticed for myself as the designer and as the creator who's like on the back end, the way I look at our images now, it's shifting how I feel about aging, because it's simply just seeing images where you're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Like for us to be able to see beauty in something that is not the norm, it actually, I'm noticing I need to like work on my own thoughts and my own mind of seeing it and seeing it as beautiful. And so thank you for doing the work, because that's kind of been my mission as well. Like Ananda Soul, I don't know if you know, but the meaning Ananda is like contentment deep inside the soul. So it's like, it's that what we can access, what every body can access, right? You do not need to look a certain way. You do not need to have a certain age to be able to access that kind of contentment. But it is very challenging to have that level of contentment when we don't nourish our bodies, or when we cannot be our full selves. And
Mm.
so I'd love to hear like how, just like your experience with Ananda, like our pieces, and when you came across it, just what stood out for you and what made you reach out and be like, hey, I love what you guys are doing. Which, by the way, thank you, it like made my day when you messaged me.
So yeah, at first I saw Ananda Soul's ad on my Instagram timeline, and then at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful, and I just you can just sense an energy of something, even though it's just a photo on your phone. But the energy gets to you, like it's being transmitted, so And I'm quite sensitive about that. So that's why I open up the ad. I look at your profile, and then I look at your products, your necklaces, and everything else, and they're very beautiful. And then the first time we connected, we talked to each other through direct message on Instagram, right?
Mhm.
And then the moment I got your package, arrived at my house, and then I opened it, I felt the sacredness. That's the right word. The
Mm.
sacred cleansed energy from your
Mhm.
pieces. I'm wearing one of them right now. So
Mhm. Which one's
yeah,
that?
and
The
oh
Angel
my
Whispers.
gosh.
I'm going to quickly jump in here and share a little bit about the Angel Whispers necklace and what kind of went into this design when it came through, as well as the name. The gemstone that this necklace holds is rose quartz, which is the stone of the heart. It is, I always feel into it. It's almost like an embrace from the mother, like the universal mother. It's the soothing feeling of the heart. And there's a little feather next to the rose quartz pendant. And what I have learned that if I'm resting in this softness of my heart and I feel embraced, I feel held by the universal mother, I feel safe to be myself, I so much more am connected to my intuition, to those whispers coming from my angels, from my guides. And so that is the intention for this necklace, that it may soothe your heart and that it may connect you to your angels' whispers.
Yeah, so I feel like it's not just about from I mean you as the designer, the creator, the founder of Ananda. It's not just about producing or making something and then selling them to people, but you have a different value. You have an added value. You have integrity. You put a lot of love into what you're making, and that's what will create a real change. And you will be connected to the right people. You will attract the people who are in the same frequency as you. So that totally aligns with my values.
Mhm.
That's why I love working together with you. So it's been wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have a favorite piece? Is it?
All of your thing is my favorite. I have no like one favorite because all of them are beautiful. I can't choose. I love it, and I wear them every day.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I'm so touched. It's the it's an artist, and when you have a certain vision, there's and I know you'll understand that as an artist and creator as well. You have a vision. You think you're going to put that out in the world, but you never know how it's received. You never know if people will actually feel what you're sending out there. So thank you.
That's lovely.
Amazing. Um, I'd love to chat a little bit more about the now, like what's happening for you these days. I know we're globally in a rather challenging time. I'm wondering, like this last year and a half, how has your work changed? Have you been influenced in any way? What's happening for you at the moment?
Well, before this whole pandemic started, I was shooting a movie, but then we had to stop. We only have like 2 days left to shoot,
Mm,
but we had to do it with 1,000, literally 1,000 people on the road. It was like a demonstration scene, me and another 1,000 people. And in Jakarta there's this Monas area in Jakarta,
mhm.
central Jakarta, so I have to do it
Yeah.
there, which is impossible to shoot right now during this kind of situation. So we had to put a hold on that. And then well, what I've been doing is I've just been focusing on my YouTube channel, been doing a lot of IG live, been sharing a lot about mental health, educations, insights,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've compared to the years before, I've been having more day offs, which I love. So at first, I don't know, I just surrender to the situation.
Yeah,
I'm not like trying to, I don't hold grudge on this situation where I have to stay home every
yeah,
day. I just try to embrace it and just meditate, study, do things that I love. I love making my own soap, my own
mm,
body lotion, body scrub, and all these recipes that I found on the internet. And I just do a lot of hobbies other than,
right.
you know,
Well,
the
as you're
work.
speaking, because when we were chatting earlier, you're like, I'm an introvert, and I'm like, okay, I can see how you're not having the hardest time. Like I'm always like, when people are like, this is so hard for me to have to stay home this much, and I'm like, I'm secretly a little bit happy because it's all like, we can create art projects and
Be with
doing the
our
whole
space and thoughts, right?
exactly be with our loved ones. And I know there's a lot of challenges that people are going through, but I
Yeah,
also know that for introverts it's a little bit easier than for others to
I think so.
to
Yeah,
tackle these challenges. um I'm curious, as we're speaking about like introverts, and would you say you're a sensitive person, like in the sense of being an empath, being a, I don't know if you're familiar with the label HSP, highly sensitive person.
yeah. So I came across this HSP book by Elaine Aaron. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned about it, I think 2 years ago, and I feel like I can totally relate to that with that and resonate. So I feel like I'm highly sensitive. I am easily overstimulated with loud noises, and I process things very deeply. I can feel what other people is feeling when they're around
Yeah.
me. You know, this traits of a sensitive person. So when you
Mm-hmm.
told me that your topic or your title for your podcast is sensitive matters, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
aha, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like, how do you cope in the entertainment industry with these sensitivities? Like, what are some of your tricks to make it through? Because I personally, as I mentioned it earlier, like I'd be drowning.
So my challenge is to manage time, allocate have maybe 2 3 hour block time every day
Mm-hmm.
to spend it with myself and to
Right.
just do whatever I want to do, listen to music and to just be in silence. So I would need that to recharge, right? Because whenever I'm
Yeah.
surrounded with many people, it would drain me as an
Mhm.
introvert, as an HSP. So
You're picking up on so many things. You're like, wait a
yeah,
second.
I'm absorbing others,
Yeah.
vibes and energy and feelings. So it's a lot to take. So it's just about being disciplined
Yeah.
for me to take time
Yeah.
for myself, like every single day. Like usually, I take breaks during daytime at 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and just
Hmm.
yeah, that
What do
that's
you
what.
do in those breaks? Just like switch off, or do you have any habits or
Well,
practices you do?
I would listen to sound bath, like
Right.
crystal or singing bowl music, or just sit down. And it needs to. There needs to be a transition. Like after
Mm-hmm.
being very active, I cannot just just switch off right away, right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe first I would just sit down, still with having sunlight going through in my room from my window, but then I
Right.
would take the blinds down, make the
Yeah.
room darker. So just
Yeah.
be with it. Sit with
Give
whatever I want to feel.
Right. Give the
Yeah,
senses a
yeah,
break. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Oh, I can relate. Do you feel that there could be a strength in that sensitivity? And if so, how does
Right?
that show in your life? Mm-hmm.
Definitely, because sensitive people notice more things and information, notice more details compared to those who are less sensitive. So, if we can manage our energy, our emotion that would become a strength, and it would amplify our creativity, especially being an
Mhm.
artist, right? So
Mhm.
that would help a lot. And I think that sensitive people is blessed in a way that we can process emotions more fluidly, like for people who
Mhm.
are less sensitive, there's like some kind of a blockage in their
Right.
heart, their the
Yeah.
feelings in their body. So for
Yeah.
them to release emotions more,
Right.
it would be easier for them to repress or suppress feelings.
Yeah. That's
Sensitive
such a good
people,
point.
right? We
Yeah.
access feelings easier.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it is more intense because we're always feeling it and then we constantly need to like, release them, but then they don't bottle up. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
yeah, that's true. But for me, it was such a. I experienced quite a rough journey because working in this industry since I was very young, I was being demanded by this profession to show up and show to everyone that I'm okay all the time.
Mhm.
So I had
Yeah.
this tendency to bottle up feelings, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm sensitive.
It's harder for
So
you to do that.
yeah, at times I would like have to remind myself, no, you just have to express it, release it in a safe, healthy way. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
important, very important.
Mm. Yeah, totally. How I'd love to hear a bit more about your journey as a mother and your daughter if you feel comfortable to share. She's
Yeah,
8, right?
yeah, she's 8. She's in third grade right now. Well, she's the sweetest girl. Her name is Sienna,
Mhm.
and so I got divorced with my ex husband in the year 2014,
Okay.
and then so we share time with between me and my ex husband to take care of
Mhm.
my. So my
Mhm.
daughter is staying with me every weekend. She's sleeping over at my house, but during the weekdays she's with my ex-husband and his wife. But three of us, me, my ex-husband and his wife, we have I what I can say the best relationship compared to what
Mm.
happened in the past because we went through some rough journey the first year we got divorced, but after that things were improving, so we needed to be more mature, be at peace with one another for the sake of our daughter. But
Mhm.
I have just the most amazing time being a mother. That's the one thing I love most to do
Mhm.
in my life because it makes me feel like I can handle this. I am so very worthy.
Mhm.
I am amazing. That makes me feel like I'm amazing, being a mother.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
fulfills me very much.
Mm. So beautiful. Thank you. Um, do you feel that she's a sensitive little one too, or is she uh, like different in that way? I always find it fascinating because, like, my siblings, for example, they're quite different from me, and I'm always like, how does that work in the same family where somebody is kind of just solid, and then there's these ones of us that.
Yeah, my sister, I don't think I'm way more sensitive than her. But my daughter, I think she's a very, very sensitive.
Mhm.
She's highly sensitive. She's very attuned.
Yeah.
She knows, like,
Hmm. What a
so,
blessing to have a mama then who knows what's up and has been on this journey, huh?
yeah, it's a blessing. It's like it was, yeah, it was a challenging at times, but it's a blessing.
Amazing. Um, we're slowly going to come to the end, and I'd love to hear what's currently happening for you. Like, what are you working on? What are you excited about for the future? Um, Let us a little into your world of dreams and
So
creations.
yeah. Well, currently I'm doing a lot of motivational speaking. Of course, virtually
Hmm.
through Zoom meetings, or webinars. And then I'm also very excited about my new progress in my health area in my life because I've been exercising more than I usually did, and that excites me so much. And then also there are possibly several movie projects that I will do in the future, in the near future. And other than that, I'll still continue studying a lot of online courses about spirituality, mental well-being, health, mental health, and yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. Mm, can't wait
Thank
to see it all unfold.
Yeah,
um, Thank you. Such an honor to connect with you.
it's fun.
Yeah, and I just wanted to share with everybody as well that we have some special creations that you and I are putting out, some packages of product sets that will be available through you and through us, and we'll keep everybody posted on that. That's very, very exciting to start
Yes,
this journey of co-creation with you. Feels so aligned. So thank you, Marsha.
you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, such an
Definitely.
honor to get to know you more and also to be able to share your story and your journey. It's so unique, and it's, as I said before, but to just want to could say it over and over, the courage you have is really admirable and unique. So thank you for doing that. And it shines like when I watch your videos, and you are a thought leader in that way. How are you saying, oh, I put that out, and people were like, oh, she's Gila, she's crazy. And now every person is on TikTok and doing all these crazy things. And you're like, really, people? Really?
Yeah, that's funny. They just realize
Yeah.
how fun it is to do it.
Yeah. You're like, oh, maybe she's not that crazy after all. Maybe she actually just knows how to have fun in life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.